What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Sun Belt Syndicate, one I've been looking forward to for quite some time. As you can see, TJ not yet with us, but we do have some special guests. Before we get to them, real quick, Don't Sleep Energy. Go check them out, don'tsleepenergy.com, or check out their Amazon store. There's obviously some Amazon Prime deals going on this week. Maybe he'll sneak a deal in there for you guys to check out some of their merchandise. And they've also got these cool Nike Dry Fit shirts and hats. So, even if you're not a big energy drink person, you can grab some cool gear for not too bad of a price, honestly. For a Nike Dry Fit, it's a pretty good deal. Also, Phenom Elite. That's that P-looking logo there. They sell football gear, and now they are big enough to be in Dick's Sporting Goods. So definitely go check them out at your local Dick's Sporting Goods. This was a company started by an App State wide receiver. That's where the history between the two of us comes in. They threw us a little bone, and we're trying to help them out and get their name and image and likeness really out there in front of everybody, right? But I want to welcome to the show Tyler Hess, Tyler Castle from Tylers Talkin Sports. Lucky enough to meet these gentlemen for the first time in person just this past weekend in Boone. So, gentlemen, first of all, most importantly, how are you both doing tonight?
Man, doing real good. Just glad to be here, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, doing well as well. Cannot complain. We're making it through the week, so here we are.
Yeah, and you guys are coming virtually from, you said Southwest Virginia, right?
Yeah, Southwest Virginia, locally Lebanon, Virginia. So about an hour and a half from Boone.
Hour and a half from Boone, and then if people know where Bristol Motor Speedway is, we're like 30 minutes from there.
Yeah.
Well, I know app fans definitely know where Bristol Motor Speedway is. Those people that are tuned in will definitely be aware of that one. Artie Cat's jumping in. Artie Cat, guys, is our resident Texas State fan. He comes to us all the way from down in Texas. And he says, hi, y'all. Just a reminder, nobody kind of cross it. I'm not sure of the reference there, to be honest with you, but
nobody going to cross it?
No, I thought maybe it was a backstory on that or something. Yeah, I was reading it.
If there is, he'll tell us. He's our resident movie buff, our historian as far as film is concerned. Former military guy as well, so definitely one of our favorite fans to interact with. He's here literally every week. Him and a guy named Ben James, who's a big Arkansas State fan. So probably see some comments from some of them along the way. But I want to get everybody to get to know you a little bit better, including myself. You guys are football through and through. I know you're really sports fans in general, but what did you guys play starting out as kids? What made you so interested in sports? Castle, we'll start with you since you're kind of there in the center, and then we'll jump over to Hess.
Yeah, sure. Started T-ball really when I was 3 or 4. So a lot of baseball. Loved baseball. Ended up going into all-stars on that. So really deep dove into baseball. Didn't play Pee Wee football until 5th grade. Played 5th grade through 7th grade. So did a little bit of football there, and then also did soccer and cross country and tennis, believe it or not. So played a little bit of everything all the way throughout high school. Was fortunate enough to make it to regions and state in some of those fields. So that was always fun. But yeah, just really all around everything sports. My sister, she was in sports, and she's older than me. So, I've always been at the field. Monday through Friday, every evening we had practice. She had practice, I had practice. So always at the field.
Nice. Hess?
Yeah, as for me, it's same kind of story there. T-ball starting out, but then it was baseball. I played baseball from T-ball all the way through high school, and then football from the time that I was able to play, put shoulder pads on. I played all the way through high school, was fortunate enough to play in some state semifinal games. Had a very, 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 very brief college football career. Football. And then I did track and field my senior year as well. But I always wanted to play basketball, but I was always so beat up and tired after football season. I was like, I need a break. So, yeah.
Nice. Where was the college football career at?
It was very brief, and it was at UVA Wise, right about an hour and a half down the road, yeah.
Oh, very nice. They got a good program there too.
Yeah, they're growing. They've grew a lot. Back when I was going to going there, it was NAIA. Now they're up to Division II, so they've moved up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you guys know each other growing up? I mean, I'm assuming that's kind of where the connection was made, but I'm just, trying to assure myself and everyone else of that.
Yeah, we our parents actually knew each other when they were kids. We didn't really know that till we got older, but yeah, we grew up side by side in the same neighborhood, right across the street from each other. Every day outside doing something, shooting basketball, passing football, baseball. Castle had a pool.
I was going to tell him the first time I met you, he's actually playing wiffle ball. My family was in the yard, and he came down. And to be honest with y'all, I didn't like Hess at first. I thought, he's stepping on my turf, trying to take my family's way I felt. So
well, that was the thing too. And I've always, Castle's younger than I am, so I always looked at him as like my younger brother. Me and his sister were in the same grade, but he was always like the little brother I never had. So we've been tied to the hip ever since.
Yeah, 20 years.
Nice. So
yeah,
what is the age gap? Is it just a year or two?
4 years.
4.
Yeah, 4 years. I'm 34 and he's 30.
Nice.
So
okay.
Yeah.
Oh well, I got y'all beat, but I won't share that information. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I love it.
I'm touching 40 this year, gentlemen. When we get to March, so
Nice.
Yeah, the hill is here.
Blessing. That's good.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Our local resident App State reporter, as we like to call him, because he does stuff for the website. Weston is chiming in saying, "What a game for y'all to visit!" Yeah, you guys have come the past 2 years for some really incredible games. So for all those watching, maybe aren't aware, first of all, I need to follow these guys everywhere: TikTok, Instagram,
yes, appreciate
Facebook,
that.
their podcast. They do a phenomenal job, and they do a really good job of wrapping up all kinds of stuff. They don't cover, as we were just talking before we went live, they can't cover every little thing every single week, but they're hitting the big important stories and getting the stuff that you guys want to hear about. I really enjoy listening to these fellas, and I've been happy to run across them, obviously online, where we're going to do this now. But obviously, again, this past weekend in person for the first time. But yeah, JMU last year, you got Oregon State this year. I know you guys, just like myself and a lot of other App State fans, had the Oregon State game circled because of what we thought it was going to be before the game and the season even kicked off. But luckily, it lived up to expectations. So let's talk about that. What time did you guys leave the home and arrive in Boone on Saturday?
Go ahead, Castle, since you drove us down there.
Yeah, I did. So Hess was supposed to drive. That was supposed to be part of the deal. But I ended up getting a rental, not because I wanted to, but because my wife's car had a recall. So ended up getting a free rental. So that was nice. So I told Hess I'd drive. But anyway, we left at 6:20 from Hess's house. And we arrived at Boone right at like 8:05. And then we stopped at Alumni Hall. Because I had to pick up this hat because Hess had a really nice App State one and I wanted one really bad. So I asked him where he got it from, told me the website and everything. I was like, oh, the store's right there on Main Street. We'll just swing down there and get it. So had to get me a hat. But yeah, we got there at 8 o'clock this time. So not too bad of a drive. And didn't have to go through snow like last year. Last year we had to go up the mountain and around because of Hurricane Helene as well. So a lot of stuff last year.
Yeah, that's true. Gosh. Yeah, I didn't even think about that part of your journey. I knew about the snow, obviously, because it was ongoing a little bit, like as you're even coming. I mean, it was just flurrying, I believe, as you went into town. But did you guys run through anything worse outside of Boone, or was it just not that bad anywhere else?
In the Mountain City area, it was pretty bad. Like the main road to get down into Boone that we would take normally was completely washed out. So we had to take a left turn and go up this mountain, and it ended up being called like Antioch. And it was like 40 degrees where we was at, and by the time we got to the top, it was like 20 with like 4 or 5 inches of snow on the ground. And then we get into Boone, the wind's blowing like 90 and freezing cold.
And we talked about taking, Hess has a 2-wheel drive car, gets really good gas mileage. So we talked about taking that. Luckily, we took his truck that has 4-wheel drive, or we might have not made it last year.
Right.
We might still be on that mountain. That's what I told Hess. I was like, we might still be there.
Yeah.
So it's true what they say about getting a little tough to get to Boone sometimes, huh?
Yeah, sometimes.
100% fact.
But this last past weekend, it was smooth.
Yeah,
no problems.
Easy driving.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I got it like I-40 almost all the way until I get to 421, 3-hour drive from here in Chapel Hill, but it's all flat, right? Like until you get to the hill after Wilkesboro and start going up pretty good. No complaints. But yeah, I mean, we've heard it all before about the people that have to fly in and then drive a good ways. But I think that's, to me, I always kind of enjoy the drive. I don't know where y'all at. Like, is it elevated pretty well, or is it pretty flat?
It's pretty elevated.
It's very similar to Boone as far as the elevation and stuff. Yeah, we're right on the edge of like the Appalachian Mountains.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna say y'all's logo has like the nice mountain backdrop behind the logo, and I'm like, I would assume that's because that's kind of where they're at, because it just makes sense. But did want to confirm that for sure. So we learned a little bit about your upbringing and how you guys got together. So what is there a commonality between favorite teams? I know one of you is a Tennessee fan. I'll let you start, Castle. And then I just get to know like where the App State thing came into play after that.
Yeah, so Hess and I disagree on every sports team except App State. And App State just came to us because it's close. So it's probably it probably is the closest like larger school near us. So we have that, and we have Tech like just a little bit further down the road. So Hess used to love the Hokies, and he loves Georgia now. But always have to throw that little plug in there. But
you do.
But yeah, App State just kind of happened, didn't it, Hess? I mean, we just talked about it, and then we got tickets, so.
We were talking like through the pod and some of our people that were listening about like going to college campuses. And one of my buddies I graduated with, he ended up not being able to go to the JMU game. He's like, hey, I got 2 tickets if y'all want them. And that's how we ended up going to the JMU game last year. And then it took off last year, like meeting all the people we met tailgating. And then we were fortunate enough this past year, we got tickets again, this time from Lee that we've talked about a lot in the pod. He sent us tickets so we could come back down. But like he said, we don't agree on any team at all. He's Tennessee. I'm Georgia. He's a Steelers fan. I'm a Broncos fan. He's a Yankees fan. I'm a Braves fan. So as far as sports teams, we don't agree. But we do watch each other's teams and kind of root them on when they're not playing each other. So
yeah, a little bit of family support there.
From like, okay, yeah, there you go. Is it rooted from like parent upbringings and their teams that kind of got you going in any direction or no?
No, not really. I mean,
you go ahead, Hess. I'll let you answer it first.
My parents, my mom was a Dolphins fan. My dad was a Colts fan. And then both my parents are Alabama fans. Like none of them they didn't go to college in Alabama or anything, but that's who they picked and that's who they cheer for. And I was the rebel. I wanted to be the opposite of what mom and dad were doing. So like when I was growing up, I watched NASCAR races all the time with them. And they were big Rusty Wallace fans, and they couldn't stand Tony Stewart. So I was like, I'm a Tony Stewart fan then. So, yeah, stuff like that. So that's kind of how my and the Broncos thing, just to throw a backstory there, becoming a Broncos fan, it was like Christmas of '98. I got a PlayStation 1, and it had the demo disc for Madden, and you could only play as the Packers or the Broncos. And I was like, I like the colors of the Broncos, and since kindergarten, I've been a Broncos fan, just straight through.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Mine was just like my mom, and my whole family loved the Yankees. Other than my dad, he's a big Braves fan. So I had to either choose, Braves or Yankees. And at that time, the Yankees were like winning and going to World Series every year. So of course I bandwagoned and hopped right on that train at like 5 years old. So being a Yankees fan for that reason, and my family doesn't watch like any other sports. And Hess can attest to this. The reason I chose Tennessee is because NCAA football. I love the orange jerseys. I don't remember how old I was. I was young, and I've just stuck with them ever since. Don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know if that's like a positive thing to say to stick with the balls this long. But yeah, here I am.
I think it's a positive thing. I like that most college football fans do that, right? Like you don't grow up rooting for somebody and then all of a sudden just change affiliation. Like if you go to a different school because you get accepted there, obviously those things start to change a little bit. But, pro teams can change a little bit more, I feel like, but college is so like hard and fast. Like you don't really jump around much for that. But it is cool to see you guys branch out because you've got some schools closer. So with that being said, with what you've said, well, first of all, let's get to Artie's thing. He says, does Boone have a crop duster airport? At best, it's really a stick of gum airport. And as these guys can attest to, with being there last winter when it was really windy, like you can't just go up there and land whenever you want to. It's pretty difficult. So yeah, it has an airport technically, which I think also sustained some damage during the hurricane as far as flooding and stuff was concerned. So I do believe it's still operational, but you can't have anybody of note land there with any kind of big airplane. It's got to be small commuter stuff and helicopters. Really is what can kind of go in and out of there. And he's got a question for you, Tyler. Oh, Castle, I'm gonna do that all night, but he says you're the most grounded Tennessee fan he's met. Most are into X-Files levels of conspiracy against them.
Whoa. Don't let him be all level-headed. Every time the balls are playing, he's like, oh, the other team's paying the refs. Every time
it's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. It goes to Alabama fans, you know.
If I could pull out some text messages during some of the heated moments of the balls, he's level-headed here.
That's the old Tyler. That's not this year. I'm mature. I hit my 30s, guys. I'm in my 30s. I'm mature now.
There you go.
Okay.
Now.
There you go. Well, what's cool about the Tennessee connection now is the Joey Aguilar play, right? Like that's kind of, you guys got to see him before that. So you're obviously aware of him, and then he comes in and he's kind of maybe not lighting the world on fire, but he's definitely making a name for himself and making I know a lot, there's obviously a few in the App State fan base that hold it against anybody for transferring out. I don't, not in this particular situation, of course,
right.
Anyways, because it was a little bit different than your typical I'm going to go grab the big money type of thing. But yeah, I mean, how excited are you for what he's done, mostly for Castle, but Hess, I mean, I'm sure you feel some kind of like rooting interest for a guy you've seen play in person and now is at like a bigger school making a name for himself there as well.
Yeah. Hess and I have been Joey fans, honestly, since he transferred to App State. So 2 years ago, when he balled out that first season, Hess and I were pretty high on him there. Yeah. And then seeing him last year, what he did against JMU and just trying to keep up with him. I know he had a lot of turnovers, not all his fault, but, he's very sound and he looks very good on the field. Then you look at what he's doing this year with Tennessee. I mean, he's leading the SEC or was leading. They had a bye week. I don't know if he's still leading or not, but he's first or second. So he's up towards the top. He's in top 10, top 12 in some Heisman rankings, rightfully so. I mean, the dude's having an excellent season. And I just really love Joey's backstory. I mean, he started in Southern California in Diablo Valley College, which is like, for people that are listening around here, that's like Southwest College with us. So super small. And then he couldn't afford to take the train. I was listening to him on a podcast. He couldn't afford to take the train back and forth with his buddy. So they got caught like trying to, hop on the train for free. And so they ended up transferring to another JUCO college. And then he eventually, got picked up by App State. But pretty wild story. I just love his story. He said he was going to be a firefighter when COVID came along because he thought he wasn't going to play football anymore. And he, decided to stick with it one more year. And then now look at him. I mean, it's just an incredible story. It reminds me a lot, honestly, of like Josh Allen, just like the massive story. I'm not saying Joey's going to be Josh Allen, but he's having a Josh Allen top season at Tennessee. I'll say that. How about that?
Yeah, and I mean, on my side of it, like he said, when he got to App State, like we followed him, and they were like, "This kid, there's talent here." Like, I know he's at App State, a little smaller college, but you could just see the talent that he had. And last year, when we was at that JMU game, I think it was at halftime, me and him were talking. It was like, could you imagine Joey and Heupel's offense in Tennessee? Because we could just see the arm and the deep ball and knowing how Heupel likes to stretch the field. And Castle kind of laughed it off. And, they're still holding on to Nico at that time. But it was funny now looking at it that how it all worked out, that he's there and it's all clicking. He does so well, and it's such a good story.
As soon as Hess and I read, that he was coming to Tennessee, I was stoked because we already seen him play. So I was like, this could be electric. And I think Hess even said like Heisman front runner. I think he was joking, but I think he's kind of like being serious in a way.
I was. I knew with him coming into that offense, the offense that he ran at App State, even though it wasn't as electric, it was very similar as far as the routes and the deep passing and the formation. It was very similar, not as fast and up tempo. But I knew it would be a very comfortable fit for him to come into there, and it's showing on the field. The numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like you. I actually said to myself, like, I'm going to throw some money on this kid before the Heisman stuff even starts this year. And what's crazy is, like, I couldn't even find a list that he was on to, like, do that. And obviously, like you said, now, I mean, he's climbing the list, and deservedly so. I think a lot of people knew that he would stand a chance. I know people saw the turnovers last year. You guys probably know this as well. Playing from behind, trying to force things, trying to make some things happen. Those things are going to happen. It's okay. You know, people that watched the games understood. It wasn't like he was just letting the game get out of hand immediately. It was usually like, hey, in the second half, let's try and make some things happen. Didn't go their way. So it was unfortunate that kind of ended that way. But, I mean, you could still see the talent. And then, again, that's obvious with what he's done now. I mean, UCLA wouldn't have picked him up for no reason, and obviously Tennessee has picked him up, and he's shown out so far. Speaking of showing out, Mr. TJ Courman is going to be joining us now, and I think I have to edit this thing to allow him to come on here. But I think, TJ, can you hear us in here?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, I just got to get you added to the stage here.
Full house.
Yeah.
We'll move the chairs around here for a minute.
Yeah.
But while I'm doing that, TJ, you're coming in from a baseball game. These two are baseball guys. So did they win it tonight in extra innings, or did they fall here?
So I was actually confused. It wasn't extra innings. We do play 6 innings, so we were fine. However, yes, we did win without having to go back up to bat, 9-7. So it was good. It was a good game.
Nice.
My son, which I'm always going to brag on, 4 for 4, 3 RBIs.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
He did good, man. He did really well.
Heck yeah. That's awesome.
That's very nice. Some of the questions are going to pop up on the bottom of the screen here, but question: will Mark Sanchez do the butt fumble in prison?
Oh man,
it should be bronze in front of the stadium. One of the best plays in Jets history.
Oh,
good old butt fumble.
He's never going to live that down. Like, it's going to be with him forever.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's definitely what he's best known for. Unfortunately for him.
What's his deal, man? What's going on with him? Why is he beating up old people? What's happening?
So, I mean, I guess the basic that I've heard from it is there was a parking dispute. I mean, this guy's like a trucker that got out of his truck, and I guess Sanchez was drinking or under the influence, and didn't like what was happening. I'm sure there's at least war of the words before all the physical stuff happened, and who knows why that part started.
Yeah, but
they say they have
not a whole lot of things
angles.
A 69-year-old man is going to say to make me punch him in the face. Are you kidding
right?
me? I'm not punching a 70-year-old, bro. Like, what are we doing?
There's even a video out there of him like in some alley doing wind sprints before this whole incident took place. Like, I don't know what was going on.
Might have been on something else.
There's the theory or speculation that he's been on some goofy dust here recently. Yeah. So
I don't know, man. That would make more sense for the erratic behavior, right? But I mean, it's not excusable, but it would kind of be like, okay, so he wasn't in his right frame of mind. Like,
right.
Hopefully that is the case. But they said they caught this thing on multiple camera angles, so they're going to see pretty much everything that happened. I'm assuming. I would assume some of these cameras may have audio, but I don't know. I don't know where this exactly took place, what kind of alleyway it is with cameras, but who knows?
Well, and in today's society, everybody's got a camera angle at some point, so eventually we're going to see the whole deal. Well, I mean, you saw the guy, like his face, and I mean, it was not good.
No.
Yeah,
not at all.
Not good.
Did y'all see where someone edited, like, had him in the hospital, like calling the game from like the hospital? He was like laying down the bed. Yeah,
he was supposed to call the Colts game on Sunday.
He was supposed to, I was laughing. I know I shouldn't be laughing, but that was funny.
Yeah, it was.
That's awful, man. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to get a sidetrack. That was just that was crazy.
Well, we got one more thing to add because this is too good. Artie says cops found Sanchez down the street, stabbed. Even today, he can't scramble. Ouch.
That's good. That is good.
That was good. So TJ, to get these guys and us back on track here, we talked about them being in Boone this past week, enjoying the game. How and why they kind of started to do the trips to Boone. So you guys aren't far from Virginia Tech as well, which also means you're not far from James Madison. Is there interest or intrigue to kind of going up there to Harrisonburg and taking in the game up there with the Dukes as well?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've been by that stadium a few times driving up that way for whatever reason it was. But, yeah, I mean, going to JMU, I think that stadium was awesome, seeing it on TV and just seeing it from the road. I just love to go there. And the way the Dukes are playing football of late over the last couple of years will be absolutely electric to be up there.
Dude, it was loud back in 2007 when I played against them, or 2008, whenever it was. I mean, they've always had a good support system and a good group around their school. So, I mean, they play ball. They play ball.
Yeah, I'd like
you
to
want to know how loud it was?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say I want to go see them before they lose their head coach. I want to go see him there.
Yeah,
because he's gone. He's gone.
It's a good point. It's a good point. I'll tell you how loud it was, TJ. The last time I was there, well, not the last time, but the first time I was ever there, even with the smaller stadium, might have had a little bit too much fun before the game actually happened. Was given a free ticket. I had driven up from Boone with a couple friends, given a free ticket, making my way in. Didn't ever make it into the game. Okay, and I was taking a little nap. Let's just say in a freshman dorm. I don't even know whose it was to this day. I have no idea whose dorm room it was. But it was so loud when they came back and scored and won the game. You know how you guys had that last second punt that they didn't field, so you couldn't get the ball back one more time. And I guess they stormed the field right after. I woke up from my slumber when that moment happened, and I was like, "What is going?" And I was across the street somewhere. It was very loud. So you're right. They have a history and tradition of a good football culture there at that school. One thing that myself and I think a lot of other people want to see is that stadium be equal on both sides, because that's going to be intimidating. That's going to be a really nice looking, sharp place to see a game. It does feel a little weird now because, like, I know for last year when my dad and I went to the game, you're on the JMU visitors area, which is way up top at the highest point, and you're looking down and the other stands are so tiny looking and so far away because they're not kind of across from you. But hey, you got a visitor behind you, TJ.
Yeah,
4 for 4,
Mr. 4 for 4 himself.
4 for 4. Wow.
Yeah, nice.
He wanted.
Nice.
He's
You got
like,
all the
"Dad,
guests popping
can I be on the show?" And I'm like, "You can come say hi. You can come say hi."
You went 4 for 4. Yeah, he can come on. Yeah. I like it.
If he went 3 for 4, I don't know, but 4 for 4.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
nice
he
work,
got the win today, 9-7, and it got hairy there at the end. But made a couple good plays, and like I said, him going 4 for 4 certainly helped. So
absolutely,
good job.
Absolutely.
All right, go take a shower.
Get ready for bed.
Shower.
Time for bed.
Yeah. Oh man, Artie's kind of simple best and worst stadium. UMass has to be the worst, right? There's so many ones that are just not great. I honestly can't say off the top of my head which ones that I would have on like a short list. Unfortunately, ULM in our conference is one that is just kind of like awkwardly built like James Madison, but in even a smaller sense. It's kind of like the App State kind of home visitor side. It's not completely rounded in. And then the one side is just way up, very the slope is very steep from the sounds of it. And then the other side is small. And then, if there's not a whole lot of people there, it looks very, very awkward. Unfortunate for ULM. They don't really have the money to put into, a great stadium of theirs. But what do you guys have any that are sticking out in your head that you've either seen or gone to that are just pretty bad?
Honestly, for me, I haven't been to too many stadiums. I mean, I've been to several Tech games. I've been to Georgia, been to App State, been to Neyland, maybe 1 or 2 more. I mean, honestly, Neyland is not that nice. It looks really big, but I mean, I know they've been updating it, but I mean, the bathrooms were terrible, the concession stands, the walkways, terrible.
I don't know why you don't like the troughs, man.
I don't mind the trough. I'm just saying,
come on,
you're an SEC school, but the updates are there. I know they're coming. But I mean, you hold 110,000 people. I guess it's going to be a little cramped. But see, some of the seats in Neyland 101. Some of the seats at Neyland are literally steps. Like I went to a Florida game. I might have been with you when I went to that game. I was literally sitting on a step. So the whole game I was moving back and forth so people could go up and down.
Yeah, that is true. Hess is not lying. It is old. It needs some updates, which they're slowly getting there. But on TV, I would say, honestly, I know it's going to come
on TV
out left field, but on TV, because I also been the same like stadiums Hess has been to. But I'm going to say Missouri. I just think something about their stadium just looks weird.
That camera angle there on TV.
There's something about it.
Syracuse.
It might be really nice. I don't know. I don't want to throw too much shade, but on TV, it doesn't look that nice.
I can tell you an awful stadium, and that was Candlestick Park before they got, I guess, the new stadium. Dude, I went there back in, what was it? 2011, and I saw Brian. That was Brian Quick's first touchdown. He was playing for St. Louis. He was playing for the Rams at the time, and we went. He got us tickets to the game, and we went. And the whole stadium, like, it shakes, like it was literally like the stands were moving, and like that's how old it was. And I was like, I got to get down, bro. Like this, I don't feel good about this at all. But we stuck it out, and glad we did because we saw his first touchdown. But that was a terrible stadium.
Sure.
Old Candlestick.
Yeah. Yeah, that new one is quite a bit better. Although that's got a little bit of a weird design to it too. I feel like
it does. Yeah, but anything's better than what they had.
Yeah. Are you saying that they carried me in around JMU like a goalpost? They could have, honestly. I could have. Probably could have. Says UMass's high school level bad. Yeah, I mean, there's probably high school in Texas that have a much better stadium than UMass does.
Texas, Georgia, South California. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Brian Long asking, have you guys been to Coastal? I believe the Tylers have not. That's a pretty long journey. But you and I, TJ, have been to Coastal. So let's start with you, TJ. What are your thoughts on Coastal Carolina's stadium?
Yeah, I don't mind Coastal Stadium, especially the end zone where the student section is. And I think I told you about this, Dominic, when I first time I went there, postgraduate, I had a couple of my rings on. I was walking by them because I was going. I wasn't sitting in the stands, I was standing on the sideline, and the kids were just like talking trash and just calling me everything but a child of God, essentially. And so all I did, and what was funny was, luckily, one of the rings that I had on was on my middle finger. And so I didn't mean to I didn't do it on purpose. Like, it wasn't like I'm flicking them off. Like, I didn't do it on purpose, but it just happened to be.
Yeah.
And so I pointed to the ring while giving them the finger, and it was epic, dude. It was. But as far as the field goes, the stadium is nice. Like I said, the back end zone view is nice. The front is open. Both sides are pretty good. In the field, turf doesn't look as bad in person as it does on TV. On TV, that field looks awful. But in person, it's not terrible.
I got a question for that. How's that entrance in person? Like when they come out? Yeah,
it's not bad. I mean, it's not awesome. It's not like, honestly, App State's is better. And obviously I'm a homer, so I'm going to say that anyway. But it's better. But I mean, it's good. I mean, it's a lot better than most schools. But comparatively speaking, I mean, it's better than, I'd say it's better than Georgia Southern's, and Georgia Southern's is pretty good too.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as the
I'll tell you this, TJ, you weren't there, right? But and I don't know how much the Tylers were catching on to this, but App State royally messed their entrance up this past weekend. It was not done appropriately at all.
It looked like they just kind of walked out. Like, I got a video of it. Like, it wasn't. I don't know. There was something off with it.
It looked delayed. I think with the zip line, maybe it threw them off a little bit.
Oh, probably, yeah. Because I did see the zip line.
Exactly it. Which is funny because that didn't even take that long, right? Like, I mean, it looked like it ran exactly how they wanted. He jumped off, came down pretty quick, unhooked pretty quick, got the ropes out of the way. But then they started, I mean, I think like they started the video, if I'm not mistaken, and like 5 seconds into the video, here come the fireworks and the team. And now the video that they've, set up to bring everybody out onto the field is just like not being heard by anyone anywhere. Which is disappointing to me personally because Darrington Evans was one of my favorite players to watch, and he was, in and out of the NFL on a bunch of different rosters here recently, and he's the one doing the voiceover and doing the video. They've put time and effort into making this thing, and you didn't even hear hardly anything of what he said.
Right.
He did bring back Welcome to the Rock. A lot of fans were mad about that, but the Sean Connery little goofy thing, but it's been there since I can remember going to games. And so they brought that back for the fans that had missed that. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see. G. Will saying, am I listening while still at a Caps home opener? Come on. Nice. He's at the Bruins Capitals hockey game and he's still listening. That's a real
awesome.
That's dedication.
That's a real
And we
fan there,
appreciate it.
Yeah. And G. Wills, awesomely enough, was on the Monarchist podcast. So he's a big ODU fan, which we know how well they're doing.
Nice.
So we're going to jump into that next because I want to cover that with these guys. Warren, our Troy fan, saying not as good as Troy's as far as I think that's probably due to the Coastal comparison. And then we'll get back into Artie's questions. But let's jump over to ODU quickly while we got onto that subject. What was your favorite, maybe, guys, before the season started, or if you had one? And if you didn't, who is it now? Because it looks like it's probably ODU for most people. But, you know, we got the App State lean over here. So we'll see if there's any kind of different answer thrown out from either of you.
I believe when we did because we covered the Sun Belt in our college preview, I'm pretty sure we both went with Southern Miss just due to the coach change, Charlie Huff down there, the transfers brought in, kind of what he was going to bring to the table. And they're not playing bad football, but I don't think it's been as what they expected fully. But now looking at it, I want to say JMU because, you know, Virginia. I would love to say App State, but I mean, I'm going to be honest here. I don't think they're there.
Yeah.
But ODU looks really good. I mean, they lost to Indiana by just a touchdown or maybe 10 points, something like that.
14-27, yeah.
Yeah, it was real close there. But on the west side of the Sun Belt, though, don't sleep on Troy. Troy's going to be making some noise. They got their schedules favorable, and I think you could see – personally, I think you'll see ODU and Troy in the Sun Belt Championship.
Wow. I like that take.
I like that.
That's
I like
a
that.
hot take.
I'm with you. Yeah. I was not necessarily high on Troy coming into the season. When I did my predictions, I was telling TJ this before too. I was like, this schedule, just like Hess said, I mean, he knows, again, these guys know what they're talking about. Give them a listen. But Hess is talking about something that was real, is that Troy's schedule lays out very well for them. And I was surprised that the Troy Boys podcast, who we've had on this show many times in the past, none of the three of them were very high on what they expected out of their team this year. But I was high, and they thought I was crazy. I'm glad to see Hess agrees with me on that one. I didn't know if I had them in the championship game. I'll say that. But I definitely had them finishing up towards the top of the West with every bit of a chance to get there. Castle, what were your thoughts before the season started on the Sun Belt overall, and maybe who your current favorite is now?
Yeah, I mean, like Hess mentioned, we both had Southern Miss kind of winning it all. I mean, I got the stats pulled up here. They are currently first, which 3-2 in the West Division. But, yeah, not leaning that route now after getting into the season. I mean, definitely top two picks for me in the East is ODU and JMU. Obviously, I think JMU is very good, but Old Dominion beat Tech. I know it's not saying a lot, but I mean, Tech's pretty tough squad. So, yeah, I'm going to go JMU probably to win it all. And then, of course, I would love to say Arkansas State one day with Butch Jones, but that's a ways off still, maybe a couple of years.
Brick by brick.
Brick by brick. Yeah.
Yeah. I know that the A-State fans, the Red Wolves fans have been clamoring for that turn to really happen, and they have a kid in Jalen Rayner from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, who, you know, was putting them on that trajectory. They just had that big win against Texas State this past week, you know, 31-30. That missed extra point came into play big time, which was kind of a crazy finish in that one. There was 41 fourth quarter points in that game alone. So It was nuts. It was fun to go back and watch that one for sure. But yeah, then we'll see. I think G. Wills is giving me a hard time maybe on who's this guy with the ODU stuff. We'll see. Oh, man. Artie says he is enjoying the downfall of Oregon State and their jerk announcers really trash the broadcasters and cameras, etc. Just West Coast jerks. They'll be in the boat soon enough as well. Yeah, I mean, we know Texas State is going to go out there and join them. So Artie's going ahead and getting a head start on the Beaver hate over there, which is fun to see, right? Like, got to keep that stuff going. And he says the G6 is proving a lot harder than they thought it would be. Now you have to hustle and be talented evaluator of kids that aren't just going to show up now. And TJ, you talked about a guy who came in transferring to App from LSU while you were there. So just make a quick note of that. Like, just because some big names coming down to the G5 or G6 level doesn't mean they're going to be a really great player, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It happens all the time, man. I mean, we had multiple transfers that came in and really had almost, little to no impact. We had I'm not going to say anybody's names, obviously, but we had a transfer from Clemson. Didn't really pan out. We had a transfer from obviously LSU, who was just horrible. Transfer, Boston College. We had transfers. We did have two transfers from Wake Forest, the Olabar brothers, they ended up being really good. But yeah, we had. I mean, it doesn't. Talent is talent, right? And it's the difference. The biggest minute difference between a P5 or now P4 and a G6 is 15 to 20 pounds. That's it. That's really it.
Yeah.
Because if my offensive guard is 285 and Clemson's offensive guard is 315, that's obviously huge size difference. However, that doesn't make you better or stronger or faster. We might have the same measurables in the weight room. The only difference was you were a little bit more heavily recruited because of the school you went to and how big you were, right? I mean, my pro day, just as an example, had the same exact measurables as Hakeem Nicks, and he was drafted and I wasn't, except obviously height. But apart from that, same measurables, same 40 time, did a little bit better than him in the 225 rep test, same vertical, same broad jump, same everything. He's just 6 foot and I was 5'9". So, you know what I mean? So that's the difference, is a couple inches and a couple pounds.
I think me and Cass were talking about that Saturday at App State. We was looking at the App State, like, defensive lineman, offensive lineman. It's like, gosh, these kids are really big. Like, you would think you'd see them maybe at a bigger school. And I think I said the exact same thing. Like, this dude's 6'7", but he weighs 280. But the dude who's at Alabama is 6'7", 315 pounds. They just don't want that big.
That's the difference.
Yeah. No, it doesn't mean he's any slower, faster. Can't block as good. He's just the size.
That's crazy. We're saying 6'7", 280s. Like, I mean, my gosh.
I'd like to be 6'7", 280.
Me too, man. Golly.
I wouldn't be here. I'd be on Sunday, playing on Sunday.
Yeah, I would be here as well.
Yeah, that would be nice. I'd be okay with that. G. Wills is asking what the Sun Belt record versus the P4 is. I'm assuming he just means this year. A quick look tells me that we have exactly one win, unless I'm missing one. I'm just going to double check here. No, we have 2 wins. No, that's all time. Okay, we have 1 win versus the ACC. That was ODU over Virginia Tech. So that is the single sole Power 4 victory that the Sun Belt can hark on this year, which, unfortunately for ODU,
wait, isn't Oregon State P4? Isn't Oregon State Big 12?
No.
They don't recognize
Oregon State is the Pac-2, and we know the Pac-2 or the Pac-12 is neither one is a power conference at this stage.
I guess as it stands, no, but they so what part? Who do they belong to? Conference?
The Pac, I guess
Pac-12.
Yeah, but Pac-12 isn't that dissolved? In the Pac-12, didn't they all the Pac-12 go to the Big 12?
I think they look at them more as like a G6 school now, because with the way the playoff is, you have the 4 get the automatic bid, which I think is why they're expanding it next year, because they got the Pac-12 league back. So then
that makes a little more sense, because I was like, what? But I see where we're going.
So in a way, I guess they're kind of like Notre Dame.
I hate Notre Dame so much. I hate Jordan. Like, find somebody to belong to.
I'm glad you said that.
An ACC schedule, but you're not affiliated. Like, who do you think you are? Why do you get to do those things? And then you're just like an automatic bid every single year to get in the playoffs because you win 11, 12 games or whatever, or 10 or 11 games or whatever it is. and then you get to the Final Four and then you still don't win. I mean, when's the last time Notre Dame's won a national championship? They need to stop with the nonsense. It needs to stop.
They're in the ACC and every other sport except for football,
right?
So they can cash in that money that they get.
They get to keep all the earnings.
They don't have to disperse it with the conference.
It's so annoying. It's so annoying.
Yep. Speaking of
still
annoying,
they're still ranked. 2 losses.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Speaking of annoying, there was an annoyance between App State fans this past week, and you guys were there to witness this. TJ saw some of this happen. Is this a safe space? Destiny is asking why App State stormed the field. I have seen a number of different scenarios or possibilities. One of which I hope may be kind of the truest, but I'm just not sure that it's 100% real. Is that the students got together and decided, for Sean Clark, they would storm the field. I haven't seen a strong, convincing thing to me that was really done. I think it was more of the party scene on the Hill just wanted to flow out of there and go on the field, which is fine. But yes, you are going to have other fan bases make fun of you when you storm the field versus a winless team, right, gentlemen?
Absolutely.
Well, not just that. It's also like, what are the expectations that low? Like, what are we doing?
Yes.
What are we doing? I mean, we've beaten some really good teams in our school's history. Oregon State is not a part of that conversation.
Nope.
No, not at all.
No.
And that's a testament too to how, I don't want to say poorly, we're not there yet. And Hess, you guys weren't on the show. I don't know if you were listening. I think it was last week or the week prior. I was talking to Dom and I was like, hey, we got to give this coaching staff some time. Got to recruit their own guys. They've got to, it's going to take a minute. But when you talk about storming the field against a winless team, it kind of gets to be embarrassing. I turned it off. I was like, what are we doing? Why are we watching? Well, I shouldn't be watching this.
I got a question for y'all. What do you think about storming the field? Do you think there should be some type of fine or penalty?
Let the kids be kids, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're 18, 19, 20 years old, man. I mean, it's a good time. Obviously there should be some parameters, right? Like, if they know that it's going to happen, like if it's a, unranked Auburn beating, number 2 Alabama, and they know it's going to happen, tighten the security, do all those kinds of, like, be prepared for it, right? Like, don't let it sneak up on you.
My question on that was with the UVA game where the wide receiver Squirrel White was like laying down and they was out on the field like immediately. Yeah. So I was curious, what you thought on that.
Yeah, I'm with you and TJ on that. Like, you got to do something to be better prepared. In that specific situation, I don't know if anybody could have gotten there fast enough. Like, right? No, like, that was as soon as the play was over.
That's what I'm saying. Like, don't be reactionary. Like, like know that there's a possibility. Like, if you got a ranked school versus an unranked, like, know that is a possibility. I mean, there's because I mean, back in, I think it was 2007 when we beat Delaware, we beat the hell out of them in the national championship in Chattanooga. Like, fans started jumping down out of the stand, and we got a little flack for it. People were upset, whatever, rightly so. I mean, I guess, I don't know, maybe you don't celebrate a 42-21 victory, whatever. But also, too, don't let that moment sneak up. It's a national championship, guys. Right. Like, don't be reactionary to it.
I kind of look back, I think it was last year, Ole Miss was playing somebody, and they rushed the field. Everybody in the stadium emptied onto the field, but then the refs were like, "Oh, we got to review this play."
Oh, yeah.
And then they reviewed it, and they did an untimed down, and now the whole stadium's on the sidelines. So I'm with you guys. Like, I think there needs to be like, okay, there's a possibility here. Let's tighten it up. Maybe find some way to say, give us 30 seconds for the game end, and then y'all rush.
People need to storm the field like Hess and I did at Alabama and Tennessee last year. We waited until everybody was already out there, then we went.
That's a smart thing to do.
Yeah, we waited for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's how I stormed the field. In fact, the one TJ's talking about, I was there when they beat Delaware, and my brother went down. He'd never been to an App State game, so he's at a national championship game. They win. He's like, "We're going on the field." I'm like, "Dude, I'm not going out there when it's crazy. I will stay up here and take some cool pictures of the whole scene. Then I'll go down when everyone's just like milling about and like hanging out, and that's exactly what I did. So I followed the Tylers advice there, and it was still a really good time. I know you guys said you guys have like an early morning, but I want a couple. Oh, go ahead, Hess. I think you were going to say something real quick.
Yeah, I was going to say just a heads up, like when these stadiums start getting completely closed off, it's really hard to get back onto the end of the stadium when you rush a field.
It doesn't.
When we was at Neyland, there was like bodies of people standing on each other, pushing people up over the wall and get back up.
It's so much harder to get up than it is.
It doesn't look tall at all. I'm a short guy, so like I looked at Hess, I was like, dude, I don't know if I'm gonna make it back up.
Yeah, I was that same way. I remember one time we scored a touchdown. We'll end it after this. I scored a touchdown, and like all the receivers and like all the taller guys, they jumped and was sitting on the stands with and I'm like, bro, the bleachers are like this high. I can't jump that high. And and Brian Quick like took one leap and like and put his butt on the seat. Like that's how high he jumped. And I was like, bro, I'm barely getting my forehead over the stands. I can't jump that high with you guys. I'm not doing that.
Love it.
And that's why he went to the NFL.
That is why. Yeah. Helps to be 6'3" with a 41-inch vertical.
Yeah. It does. Oh, look who's jumping in, Ben James. All right, guys. I know you said you had like 45 minutes to an hour. We're getting real close to that, so I want to respect your time here. But I have a couple real important questions to get to before we let you leave. Lee is apparently a pretty good tailgater. All right, I've seen the pictures. Yes. I've never met Lee in person, but I've been over there close to him without realizing that's where he tailgates until more recently. Was his food the best you had over the weekend, or was there something else somewhere that stuck out a little bit more? I know I'm putting you on the spot. It's a hard answer. Hopefully Lee's not watching if you go a different direction, or maybe he's going to be happy and you pick something he made. Let's see what the answer is on the tailgate food from this past weekend.
Hess, you're going first. I'm going to let you.
I mean, right. I guess, I need to go first because every tailgate we stopped at, I dabbled in their food. I'll tell you this. Lee's barbecue was by far the best barbecue ever. Like the last 2 years we've had it there. He's fixed it. It's been phenomenal.
Nice.
So I'm going to say as far as the barbecue he fixes, top notch. The barbecue baked potatoes we got from Ashley and her family.
Barbecue baked potato.
Yes. Jesus. That was at the stadium deck. Those were very good. But we had that boil.
Southwest. We also had the Southwestern pizza roll.
The West Virginia pizza roll.
West Virginia pizza roll. Sorry, yes.
That was with what's the tight end for App State? Starts plays right now for y'all.
Oh God, I forgot his name.
It was his family. It was his mom.
Starts with Ale, right?
No,
Larkin.
Yes, Larkin. It was the Larkins. We met them, and she's like, "Have y'all had a West Virginia pizza roll?" And we're like, "No, we haven't." And she's like, "I gotta get you one." That was the best, just because you could get that and go and keep eating while you're on the run and walking around.
That's a good call.
But the food all the way around, everywhere we went was what was the other boil? Was it shrimp boil?
Yeah,
the low country boil we had. Yeah, that was good. That was from Janice and James.
That
was at the Blue.
Oh yeah.
A lot of eating.
But
yeah, Lee's barbecue by far the best barbecue. But I'm gonna go with the pizza rolls just for the convenience and how just they were great.
I'm gonna go for a twofer. If you can get Ashley's baked potato with Lee's barbecue on top, there you go.
Oh, that sounds like.
Did you guys do that, or is that just
barbecue baked potato? Sounds insane.
Yeah, we'll see. We'd have to leave stadium deck with the baked potato, and then we'd have to go over to River Street and get Lee's barbecue.
Yeah, we walked like 5 or 6 miles that day. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no shortcuts there in Boone, and you're usually going down to go back up, and then vice versa when you come back the other way a little bit. Oh man, I think. Oh, so the tailgate spots. I want to know which one was your favorite, whether it's who and how they set up, or like the view you had, because of the library deck and the stadium, or the stadium deck. Well, there is a stadium deck as well, but the library deck and then River Street deck have kind of different views, but I think they're both pretty good. Was there one, like, if you guys had to set up and tailgate for the day, that you would prefer maybe?
We still haven't been to library deck, so I can't speak on that one just yet.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
But River Street, I'm gonna go with River Street personally, and the reason being is they have the parking garage and they're on level 3. So if it rains, they can just move everything underneath. So that's a luxury in itself. Stadium deck and Blue Ridge parking lot, it's all outside. So if it starts pouring the rain, I mean, you're just in the elements. So yeah, I'm gonna go with River Street until we see Library Deck, which we'll see it next time we're down there.
Yeah. I'll probably go with.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'd probably go with the River Street as well. One, just because as soon as you get into Boone, you make the right turn to go toward the campus. It's right there. You go up. And like you said, last year we tailgated underneath it because it was so windy and snowy and all that. And then this year we were out in the sun and the cornhole and everything was going good. But yeah, that little area they do well. Like it's just not Lee's group. It's just like Lee's group and this group joins him. They're all together there. Like it's just a really good environment there. Everywhere's a good environment.
Family everywhere.
I was going to say, if you're looking for, I know we got the reunion game coming up on the 22nd. If you guys, I don't know if you guys are going to it or not, but there's the 05 reunion game, and there's a bunch of us always on stadium parking deck, top floor.
Okay.
And it's a crowd, and it's all former football players.
Nice.
It is nuts. It is nuts.
It is.
We act 18 again, just so you're aware.
Yes, there we
go. That's the only way Hess and I act all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh man. Maybe you guys are welcome to stay, but I just wanted to make sure that if you have early mornings and what you have to do, we can respect that time and go into our specific Sunbelt stuff, and you guys can go into your SEC stuff.
We'll probably dip out and let you guys have the stage yourself, talk about your Sun Belt and everything. And but I personally want to thank both of you guys for letting us be on, and Dominick, meeting you in person. Hopefully, TJ, we get to meet you sometime in person as well.
Absolutely, looking forward to it.
You guys are killing it. I try to watch every episode. You all are awesome. So just keep up the good work, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Same to you guys. And again, tell the people real quick where they can find you at. I know some of the socials are T's Talking Sports and some are Tylers Talkin Sports. So just kind of spell that out for the people real quick so they can find you. Yeah,
as far as our Facebook, it's simple. It's Tylers Talkin Sports. Same with our Instagram, our TikTok. I think that's one of the T's. Pretty sure that's Tylers Talkin Sports is Tylers Talkin Sport. Not they get to put the S on the end of that one. That's the one that's really different. And then YouTube is Tylers Talkin Sports as well. So everything's Tylers Talkin Sports except
no G in that talking.
Yeah, it's talking. We gotta get that Southwest Virginia twang in there. So, but yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, there you go. The one I'm thinking of that I was referencing that was your X or Twitter account is T's
the Twitter. Yes, the Twitter.
And I know that because I went to tag y'all today, and I'm like, I'm typing their name how it's supposed to. I'm not putting the G in it. I'm spelling it right, and it's not popping up. And then I Googled it, and I'm like, where am I going wrong? And it was because it was T's because it's too long, so you had to shorten it. So, but yeah, go find these guys. They're awesome. Yeah, as you can see, if you're watching visually, the camera game is immaculate. We're gonna get TJ to step his game up over there with the camera game. I took notes before we went live, TJ. I was like, what camera do you guys use? Because it looks so good. So hopefully we can improve on our aspect on that. But again, thank you guys so much for having on. This won't be the last time, and look forward to obviously seeing you guys again in person as well.
All right, guys. Thank you all. Y'all have a great night.
See you guys. Y'all take care.
See y'all.
See you. All right, TJ, let's go to old school setup here. 1 and 2, maybe. Since we've gone an hour already, we won't roll through all the stuff that we typically go through. Artie Cat said he was going to have a ladder for you in the end zone, TJ.
I needed it.
Ben's jumping out. He says, Missy, this is our true fans, man. He went to the A-State coaches show with Butch Jones, and obviously they were talking about the Texas State game. So Butch Jones with some good answers tonight in person, he said. And look at this, Artie Cat is trying to step his game up with you, TJ. He once smoked a brisket so tender, scientists declared it a new state of matter, and its smoke was the shape of the Alamo.
That is golden.
Ben wants to know how you're your thoughts on the Red Wolves upsetting Texas State. I'll say this. I didn't see it coming. I don't know. I'll simplify mine, but I didn't think it was going to happen.
No, I'll keep it simple. Yeah, did not see that coming at all. Quite honestly, I didn't watch it because I didn't see that coming. That's how far removed I was from thinking that was going to be a possibility.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
These things happen, man. I mean, it happens all the time, and that's we talked about this. I think it was last week or the week prior. Conference play is so different because all these teams know each other, right? And regardless of, especially East and West, those things, because you have to play each other. East plays the East, West plays the West, like they have to. So it could be the worst of the worst going against the best of the best, and you catch them on an off day, anything can happen. And that's the beauty of having the conference that we have, is because, yeah, out of conference games are great and it's nice and it's fun to win them. But when you start getting in conference play, that's when things get gritty. And that's when teams you gotta bring your A game every single week, and you can't go to sleep on anybody. No pun intended, sleep energy drinks.
There you go. Look at that, TJ, wrapping it back into the sponsors. I like it. Case in point, not only did we have that on the West side, we had a JMU team struggle to beat Georgia State 14-7. It was tied going into the fourth quarter. Like that's kind of like what you're talking about. It's another example just on the other side of the division with, you can't just predict these things. I think a ton of people would have said JMU was going to blow them out, and it did not happen. No. I'm going to give you the option here, TJ. Would you want to go through any of the, graphic stuff? You want to hit the plays first?
Let's jump into some plays. We got a couple of plays we can get into. Yeah, let's jump into some plays.
I like it. Let me put this up on screen for us.
It's weird.
Right here.
It's funny having already been on here an hour. Well, I was on for 45 minutes.
I know, right? Yeah, a little bit weirder than usual, but that was fun. I really enjoyed kind of breaking the mold there a little bit and changing it up. Right, want to have more guests on and have some more fun, and that was a perfect example. Those guys run their own show, so it wasn't like I knew it was going to be hard to get them to answer questions or didn't know what kind of interactions we were going to have. It was going to be pretty natural immediately, and it didn't change when you jumped on, which was great too, right? Like, I mean, it's all
absolutely
smooth when we get into that. All right, so this first one here is going to be from the ULM and Northwestern game. And this one, as we know, didn't quite go ULM's way, but this is the first drive of the day in which ULM scores, which we'll see here. Important to note that they did not throw a pass before the play you were about to see. So, TJ, if you want to talk about what that kind of thing does to a defense here, and why maybe this play that we're about to see works so well when we see it play out here.
Yeah, so the more impressive piece isn't the fact that they didn't throw a pass. It's the fact that they're on Northwestern's 35-yard line without having thrown a pass. So that tells you that they were running the ball effectively, which means that you watch the linebackers. See how the linebackers step all the way up, almost all to the line of scrimmage? Those are the kinds of things that you get cued in on or clued in on if you're a defensive player, because you've been gashed with the run the entire time. Watch these three linebackers, right? You've got four down. You've got obviously your corner. He's clearly in some sort of man, it looks like, or too high man. But watch these three linebackers. Initial steps, boom, all of them coming down. Right? And then you can see the shadows of the corners and safeties coming down. Well, now it's too late. It's too late now, because it's one of those, again, great play call, great design, but it's a testament to how well, at least on that drive, ULM had been running the football. Because, again, you get it all the way to the opponent. Even if you say, hypothetically, you start on the 30-yard line, that's still a good ways to go to get to the other opponent's 35 without having thrown a pass. So they're reeling, and they're on their toes, and they're pressing up for the run, and perfect play call against it.
Yeah, a great pass by Armenta there. And a note, it was Nick Trejillo's first game of the year and first touchdown of the season. I'm sorry, he may have been in his second game, but definitely his first touchdown of the year. So quite the way to have it and start the game there at Northwestern. Of course, it didn't quite go their way the rest of the time, as they did not score another point, unfortunately. But that was a great start. I mean, you could tell watching that one that the crowd got real quiet after that one. And, probably we're a little concerned about what could happen next. But a great play. The flea flicker usually either works brilliantly or it's just a travesty of a play.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no in between. It's either 100 miles an hour or you're on your back.
There you go. Yeah. All right. This next one comes from Texas State and Arkansas State. Now that we have Ben and Artie both here, this is a great one to have a play for. And this one is Rayner on the keeper for the touchdown. And we'll let TJ take it from here. Let me put this full screen for us first there. There we go.
Yeah, you're going to see. So, yeah, Rayner is he's one of those kids he's got it, right, with his legs. He can do it. But it's a design run play. And if you bring it back, or once we see the other view of it, you're going to see the running back immediately go up and sort of be what we call a lead blocker, right? And it's kind of like I don't want to say a quarterback power, but it's definitely a quarterback lead. And you've got your running back. He's going to come in and immediately pick up that. He's going to go next level, right? See him here, drop next level, boom, pick up a linebacker right there. Make a great block, C5, make a great block, and that's the block that got him in the end zone, right? Because if he doesn't make that block, he's tackled, which, again, still would have been first down or in a really good game, but that's the difference between first downs and touchdowns. First downs are awesome. Touchdowns win your football games, and that's the biggest difference. Again, we'll watch it one more time because you're going to see that stand up outside in. He's going to play off, right? Because he's like, oh, I'm dropping back for a pass, and you're giving yourself – now you've outrun it, and now look at 5. Great block on 3. Jalen Rayner set it up perfectly. Reservations for 6.
I do have to ask you one question here, and I didn't pick this up until like the second or third time I watched it. But the defense here at the very end, it looks like he could have taken a nice shot on Rayner while he was not yet in the end zone to maybe cause like possibly a fumble, at least put a big lick on him. I think it's 7 for Texas State. Let me see if I get the number right. Right here. He kind of, 7. Just looks like
he let up. I didn't even notice that until you just said it. He let up a little bit. I mean, listen, if I'm watching film, if I'm a coach watching defensive film, I need to know what happened. I need to know why he didn't try to make that tackle. Because at worst case, even if he still scores, that too.
Yeah, I'm wondering that too, because I'm just like, man, it looks like that was a clean opportunity to hit. Now, my only thought process is he's running around at that point. He has no idea how far into the end zone he is or isn't, and didn't want to take a penalty. But I'm taking that shot anyways. I don't know, because it doesn't seem dirty, right? It looked like he was going to hit it, like a tackle was going to come out of it.
And not only that, if it's a penalty, he's going to score anyway. So what difference does it make?
Exactly.
And why would you not? Wouldn't you rather risk a penalty and give them the ball on the 1? Maybe they score, maybe they don't. But risk a penalty, risk getting a stop and give them the ball on the 1 rather than give up 6 points.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Ben's thinking he didn't want to get ejected for targeting, and again, that's kind of what I'm thinking. That is like,
but quarterback's not protected.
I don't know.
He's not. Quarterback's not protected at that point. He's a runner.
Artie Cat making kind of the same thing because of the position Rayner had put himself in. It could have been a helmet to helmet easily. I could see the argument, but to me as a coach, I'm telling that guy, run through that play. Because like you said, TJ, he's considered a runner. Also, I think, didn't they put some type of language in there that if like the guy changes levels himself at the last second to cause the helmet,
if the runner changes levels at the last second and it's unavoidable by the defensive player, then it is not targeting. Also, too, if the defensive player, if it's helmet to helmet, but if it's not the crown, right? If it's not the crown of the helmet, it is not targeting. If it's the forehead or below, it is not targeting, right? So all you got to do is tackle with your head up. I mean, that's fundamental football anyway.
Right. Already saying kudos to that huge Red Wolves crowd. They made all the difference. New home of the 12th man. Yeah. I mean, I will say this. Well, he's also saying, cue the Texas State clown show. Yeah, the last drive there was what a lot of Texas State fans couldn't stand. I'll take this away for just a second, but the crowd was extremely sparse, and it makes a little bit of sense. They were 1-4 coming in, right? You're not going to have a huge home crowd, but you would still hope you have a little bit better of a crowd than you did. And then Butch Jones kind of doubled down on that and said, for those of you that weren't here, you missed one of the best games in A-State history, right? And they probably did, right? That fourth quarter was like the one, TJ, that we saw with App State and UNC, where they just scored 40-plus points back and forth, and then your team ends up coming out on top. I mean, that's pretty cool, and definitely something that people missed out on if they hadn't gone in there to see that one. But yeah, hopefully they can garner some more fans there soon and see what that can get them in that regard. Let's jump over to the players of the week, and some of these are going to be pretty obvious. And I believe this is our first two-time player of the week. This one is Colton Joseph for offense. 17 of 30, 315 yards, 4 touchdowns. That was just through the air. He also added 7 carries for 66 yards and a touchdown. That is an average of 9.4 yards per carry as a quarterback. So extremely dangerous against Coastal Carolina. I mean, just the guy's just continuing to do what we've asked and thought that was possible, which was evolve in that offense. We knew he had the legs. We knew he could run the ball. Can you throw? Did the wide receivers help you out more? The answer is obviously yes, right, TJ?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, anytime you get that kind of production, I mean, it's you're answering the call, and it sounds like he's the guy now that we can, if we're ODU, I can put my offense on and we can climb on his back when things get tough, and he can carry us the rest of the way. And that's what you want out of your leader. That's what you want out of your studs. Your best players have to be your best players, and maybe they aren't the best players every night. But they have to be the best players when it's time for them to be the best player. And he, so far, 2 weeks in a row, has shown us that he is the guy.
Yeah. And this is a fair point by Ben. He says, why wouldn't Rayner be offensive player for y'all? And his point is he went 20 of 20 to end the game. I think 5 of 5 on that very last drive, but 20 for 20 overall throughout the ending portion of the game. To me, the whole reason is, that was a great, if anything, he's runner-up immediately. But to me, it was Joseph being that guy from the start to the finish of the game, leaving no question, being completely dominant all the way through. Now, Rayner was really hot. Yeah, go ahead, TJ.
No. I was agreeing with you. I'm saying that's the difference because, listen, when a going gets tough, you heard the cliche before, the tough get going, and that's what Jalen Rayner did. He was absolutely phenomenal when it counted. But I want my quarterback to be phenomenal the entire game. And I want you to do that on a consistent basis all the time. And that's what Colton Joseph does. There's no shade, there's no knock on Jalen Rayner. But what Colton Joseph did, quite honestly, was really unmatched by the entire conference.
Yeah, exactly. This one stood out above pretty much every other performance, to be honest with you. If you just wanted to pick one player, didn't matter if it was offense or defense, just your best player of the week, it's still Colton Joseph for me. That performance was just special. And Artie's saying, it's going to get tough when he hits the transfer portal. And to know he is a California kid, so he is far from home. So we'll see if that comes into play. I will tell you this, ODU should not be slept on as far as funding the team. They've got some money in the background there. They may be able to do enough to keep him. Will they keep the role players that will improve and help him throughout? So we'll have to see if that continues when we go into next season. But we're not there yet. We're going to continue talking about this one, Defensive Player of the Week, Devin Lafayette. But don't get it confused. He doesn't play for the Cajuns. He plays for the Trojans. He had 19 total tackles on the day, 9 of them solo, which is better or more than most of the other defensive players within this conference. And then, of course, like I said, he had the 19 total. So it's just a day. I don't think very many other players were even in double digits, if I can remember off the top of my head, maybe one or two in the very, very low double digits. This guy almost had 20 in one game. Complete standout, but also because of how important those tackles were with how close of a game, that overtime game that Troy won against South Alabama to claim that victory of Battle of the Belt. So, TJ, thoughts on Lafayette here getting the Defensive Player of the Week award?
Yeah, no, I mean, I echo everything you said. I mean, the kid's a stud. And this isn't, if I'm not mistaken, this isn't his first Player of the Week game, is it?
I think this one for him is, yeah. But look, like you say, you can see on the graphic there, he is a captain of this team. So I do not find it surprising to see him a couple more times throughout this season, especially if Troy continues their good play and gets up towards the top of that western part of the division.
Absolutely, 100%.
We had Ben James saying special teams player of the week should be the A-State long snapper. Well, we'll give you the next best thing, Ben. We've got your punter, Jackson Waller, the SMU transfer. Look at that punt, man. It's a rocket, literally.
Look at that graphic, dude. Look at you.
Oh, man. He had 7 punts. Again, this is the game that got crazy in the fourth quarter. That was won by 1 point because of a missed extra point. But he had 7 punts for a total of 278 yards, almost averaged 40 yards per punt. It's 39.7, but probably one of the most important stats of the day, besides his 57-yard long punt, which was pretty dang good. He put 2 of them inside the 20 and had caused Texas State to try and drive the length of the field. And again, in a game that was won at the very end by 1 point, those types of plays become very meaningful, right, TJ?
Field position matters. Field position is the ultimate key to winning or losing a football game. 20 yards this way, 20 yards that way, it makes all the difference in the world. When you can, when you can put a ball inside the 10, 15, 20-yard line versus getting it now, and it's an art too. It's not just about booting it long. It's about being able to make sure you get it inside the 20-yard line without it going in the end zone. So there's some art to that as well. Because now you're giving up field position in that regard too. So no, all of it matters, and it's a game of inches, one way or the other.
Yeah, absolutely. In another game of inches play, the freshman player of the week. Look, it's always kind of hard to pick a freshman because you see certain stat lines and they stand out, and you click in, and you're like, what year is that guy? I got to look this up. Right. And they're rarely ever freshmen. Well, this kid stood out at the very last play of the game for App State and was the reason that the interception happened, because he took down what was, in my opinion, the Beavers' best player all day in Trent Walker, the wide receiver out there who caught everything that was thrown to him pretty much. He actually even caught this pass.
I was going to say, he caught this ball too.
Yeah, exactly. Juan Burchell nails him. Drills him. In fact, the picture of him in this graphic being smaller, but he is up in the air like that, like he's sitting in a chair. That's how hard he hit this dude. Can't see straight out of his helmet anymore because it's jacked up coming off of his head. That's how hard he hit him. That causes the ball to bounce up. Zaire Gamble ends up getting the game-winning interception, taking a couple steps before going down. But it was the hit of Burchell who caused this game to be won for App State and finalized that victory. He had 3 total tackles, one of them solo, one of pass deflected or defended, I should say, but none more important than that last one. And the speed and the tenacity of which he delivered that hit, which was clean also, by the way, so clean, in fact, they did not even review it for targeting, even though many in the stands thought they might. It was clearly to the chest, nothing wrong with the hit, and just an amazing finish. I've never seen a finish like that, right, TJ? I mean, have you seen a game end like that one?
No, I've never seen a game end like that. And that, to your point about it being clean, that's what I was going to bring up. It's not, to me, so much the hit and the dislodging of the ball. It's the way it was done. It's textbook. It's what you teach. That was teach tape. That's what they're going to see. They're going to play that next year. They're going to play that the year following. When you talk about how to hit a player and how to hit them cleanly and still hit them hard, that's teach tape. That's what we're going to be looking at. So hats off to him for not only making a play, but doing it the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. Artie, Shouting out the graphics. Thank you, sir. That's something that I like to have fun with, but also do these kids justice with, like almost like a trading card, like I can't give you the best shot. So like, let's have a little fun with it with some graphics involved. Try not to be too cheesy, but something that these kids will enjoy if they see it on social media, which we'll put these up tonight after this show. But those are players of the week. The standings now look like this. We have JMU and ODU at the top of the East, the only two undefeated teams. Coastal Carolina, actually, that's wrong, right? Coastal should have a loss in there, but
yep.
I missed that one somehow. They should have a loss, but everybody else above them in the Royal Rivalry is undefeated in the conference currently and 4-1. So when JMU and ODU match up, if it continues the way it's going, that's going to be one of your games of, if not the game of the year within the Sun Belt, besides, of course, the championship game. But depending on how that matches up with somebody in the West, it might still be your game of the year in total. So we'll have to see how that matches up. But look at that West side, TJ. For the first time in a while, it feels like the West side has a claim that they could be the stronger one overall. I don't know what your early thoughts are on that.
I don't know if I would say stronger overall, but I will say it's in the most peril that it's been in terms of in a long time. It's not your usual suspects is at the top, right? And then number two, anybody, it's up for grabs, right? I mean, this still, you're talking, I know we're looking at 0-1, 1-0 in conference, but if you go to the second column, I mean, it's still wide open. I mean, those records are very, very similar outside of South Alabama. Apart from them, I mean, it's really up for grabs. Anybody can take it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, fun part is still up for grabs, and there's still a lot of movement that's going to happen. So that's kind of the fun part with us still having divisions, right?
Yep.
Because I feel like if you see these all in one line, like a lot of other conferences are now, you just feel like it's over for some teams already. And that's not really the case. Like you said, these are 1-0s or 0-1s. It's not a huge gap right now. So we'll have to see what happens. Ben thinks the West is still up for grabs. I do think it's also up for grabs. I don't think there's anything running away with it. I mean, you have to look at the overall records, right? I mean, the best record over there in the West is only 3-2. It's not amazing. It's not terrible, but it doesn't tell you that these teams are amazing, and they're going to come in here and light it up in conference either. Like you said, TJ, this gets tougher because of how well these teams know each other now.
Right.
All right. Games of the week. I've got two of them. We might have some disagreements here, but these are the ones that I've come up with. It's the Cajuns versus JMU. Yes, the Cajuns don't come in with as good of a record as the Dukes do. But before the season, this is what a lot of people, including TJ and myself, had as the Sun Belt Championship game. So for me, the buildup here is still going to be really good for this one. You've got the Cajuns coming in off the bye after they were trying to get healthy. We know they were a little beat up, but you've got Lunch Winfield commanding this game at quarterback now. The question mark is really more of what happens with James Madison after that 14-point output against the Georgia State team on the road. Now, this game's at home in Harrisonburg. TJ, thoughts on this maybe early season prediction for what we thought we'd see in the championship game?
Listen, you hit it on the head. I thought this might be what our championship game would look like. Cajuns obviously aren't striking me. I'm looking at their record now. I mean, they're not striking me as the team to beat at this point. But again, there isn't a team to beat in the West, right? I mean, they're all kind of right there jumped in together. So this could be a difference maker for the Cajuns in terms of if they can win this game somehow and pull it out. This would put them starkly back in that conversation for being the top team in the West. So big game for both. If I got to bet my money, I'm taking JMU, but should be a good game for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'd put. Well, we'll get to that in the betting aspect, but I'm agreeing with you early on there for that one. Troy versus, and we'll go through these a little bit faster. Like I said, we've got a little long for a show tonight, but Troy versus Texas State is the nightcap game, the latest game of the weekend, Saturday, 8 p.m. This one's on ESPN plus that earlier game on ESPN2. So the Sun Belt able to show out a little bit if those two teams can compete and show out like we think they can. But this one on ESPN Plus between Troy and Texas State, this one in Texas, man, I don't know. This one's really, to me, like a toss-up, TJ. I don't know if you feel strongly one way or another on who might win this one.
I don't. I'm gonna, again, smart money would be on Texas State, but I'm not. I wouldn't put anything of value on it. I think this could go either way, very much so. But if you put me in a corner and if you make me take a decision, I'm going with Texas State. But I am in no way confident about making that pick. Troy is, and they shown last week that Troy can be a really good team when push comes to shove. So it should be a good game.
Yeah. I got a little bit of insight that makes me feel differently about this game than I would have on paper, not having heard anything in the background. And so I already thinking the players and coaches maybe have checked out for Texas State. I'm not sure how much that's true. I mean, they still scored 20 points in the last quarter to keep pace with Arkansas State. They just missed an extra point that caused the game not to go to overtime. So it's not like they, got scored on twice and couldn't answer. Like they were there. Now they need to play better to not allow the opponent to do the same thing. I get that. But Troy's got some stuff going on in the background right now. They've got they have a couple players who were going to not be used for the season. And apparently there's some type of thing or thought process that if you ask for a red shirt, the coach is just going to dismiss you from the program or something. I need to get a little bit more clarity on that. But it comes down to there's some kind of turmoil going on. I don't know how much it's affecting the players in the locker room, but I know it's affecting the fan base. And if it affects the fan base, I'm sure it trickles down to the locker room. You guys, TJ, do you guys at least hear some of that kind of stuff?
We do, and then we don't. It's you block it out. You block out the outside noise, depending on the situation and what it is. Dismissal from the team, that's obviously, that's a big deal. So that might not be something that you ignore, especially if it's because dismissal from the team, that doesn't come from outside of the house. That comes from in the house. So that's right. Something that that's a different whole, that's a whole different ball of wax. However, just outside noise in general, fans, media, you don't listen to that. You know who you are, you know who you have. I remember my sophomore year or junior year, I can't remember what it was. Our own school newspaper picked us to lose against, I think it was Wofford it was Wofford at home. And we ended up beating them by 40. So you don't listen to that kind of stuff.
Was that the Halloween game?
I can't remember if it was a Halloween game. I want to say it was, but I can't remember for sure. Because Halloween game, we put up 70.
Yeah, that one wasn't close. So that would have been funny if it was that one, because it wasn't even close.
Yeah, it was bad.
Man. Artie and Ben are both thinking that Oklahoma State is already kind of playing with Kenny and his emotions and thought process and decisions. So we'll have to see if that comes to fruition or makes itself a little bit better known. All right, so we got the You Better Win category. The Do It Lady. Now, I have included every other game in this category because I feel like you could make an argument in a couple of these games like why both teams should win. First of all, Thursday night. Don't miss it. We are Wednesday right now. You're either watching this live or listening to it Thursday during the day. There is a game tonight at that case at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central on ESPN2. So you don't have to even get on the computer. Do it on the TV. Georgia Southern hosts Southern Miss. I'm calling it the Battle of the Birds. Pretty obvious why. We've got the Golden Eagles versus the regular Eagles. But we've got a struggling team with Georgia Southern, but they're playing host. They are the home team against Southern Miss team who has been good, but they haven't been great. I, again, can make the argument that Georgia Southern needs to win to kind of rectify what's going on right now, and Southern Miss needs to win because they need to show everyone that they're for real and they're going to battle for the top of this West. TJ, who are you leaning towards in this Thursday night battle?
I think the win suits – I think the more urgency belongs to Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern has to prove that they can come back and start winning some football games. But in terms of, to your point, Southern Miss, being a real contender and people taking them serious, this is one of those wins that it matters for them. But if you're talking to me about sense of urgency, it's certainly more on Georgia Southern than it is for the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, I agree with you there. The all-time series history between these two, which is kind of crazy because now they've both been in the same conference for a few years and everything. Southern Miss and Georgia Southern have only played once in their history, with Southern Miss claiming the victory. So that part's not going to play a huge role in this one. It will play a big role in this next one. App State traveling to Atlanta to play Georgia State. They are 11-0 all-time versus the Panthers. Again, just like this previous matchup, you can argue that App State better win this game because they've never lost it, so you better win it, right? And on the other side of the equation, you've got the Panthers having never beaten them. You better win it because you haven't done it yet. You need to do it at some point. You need to prove something. You need to come alive a little bit more. You showed a lot of life against James Madison. Can you do it against App State? Jay, does it happen here? Does it happen? No. Does App finally lose to Georgia State, or does App keep it rolling?
No, App keeps it rolling. However you define rolling. But yeah, they don't lose to Georgia State, man. Listen, Georgia State's a decent football team, and they're kind of on their way and starting to make the come up. They're not ready yet. They're just not, and they don't have. They're under recruited, quite frankly, underfunded, and they just don't have the athletes that the other teams in this conference has. I don't see in my mind any reason why. Now I'm going to knock on wood when I say this, but I don't see any reason why App State should go there and lose. And also, too, you talk about it being, at Georgia State in Atlanta. Atlanta's only a 3-hour drive from Appalachian State. We went back and forth to Atlanta a whole lot when we were in college. So it's not like it's a long way. It's right up 85 or down 85, depending on how you look at it. So, it's a pretty easy drive to make. So that home field advantage, yes, but how much,
Right. Well, yeah, home field advantage usually when these two teams get together, even in Atlanta, favors App State. Large contingent of alumni, like you said, TJ, who travel, 1, and 2 live in the Atlanta area and come over.
I mean, half of our football team when I was at App State was from Atlanta. So you talk about Atlanta alum, we had them.
Right.
We had them. So
yeah, absolutely. So we'll see what happens. That one's a 3:30 kickoff on ESPN Plus. Another 3:30 kickoff on ESPN Plus is ODU going on the road to Marshall. This all-time series, again, a lot of these things were before recently, but this all-time series favors Marshall 9 wins to just 1 all-time for ODU. And again, Marshall's probably been up that upper echelon when a lot of these games were played in the past, and we know ODU kind of resurrection of the football program here more recently, and then obviously with the COVID year sitting out and whatnot. But now they look like the power team in this conference at the moment. So I've got this as a must-win for ODU to continue to look the way they do, be in that conversation for a ranked team. And then on the other side of the equation, again, Marshall has got to prove otherwise. Can they do it? Can they keep winning in this series at home as they've done so often? Or does ODU continue to look like a possible ranked team, TJ?
I think ODU continues. They continue it. I mean, we just talked about Colton Joseph and how good he plays football. He is going to be the difference in this football game. Marshall is a good football team. And I say good. Sometimes they're a good football team. Sometimes I don't know who the hell they are. But ODU, we know who they are all the time, and we know that Colton Joseph is one of those guys he's going to show up no matter what, and history tells us that. So, smart money is on ODU.
Yeah, I do say that I want to see Artie Cat saying App State's been pumping in the noise to deal with that Georgia State crowd. We all know how loud it gets, and saying sorry, Buffalo fans. ODU wins at the little play on the bison of the thundering herd there. But yeah, my thing that I'm looking for in this is how well of a game does Carlos Del Rio Wilson play for Marshall to kind of match as best he can what Colton Joseph is doing on the other side. This one could be kind of an offensive shootout here, but we'll see if Marshall can score easily on this ODU defense. Obviously, my prediction is no, they're not going to do that very much, but they're going to get some points because this Marshall offense has been climbing the ladder a little bit. That crazy game against the Cajun notwithstanding, because, I mean, they still put up, 51 points in that 54-51 loss.
Right.
So, I mean, they can do this too. Will they be able to do it against a better ODU defense? Will be the interesting aspect here. This last one is one that I did debate putting on the others because it's not really one that a lot of people are really up on. ULM's coming off that loss to Northwestern. They've gotten blown out against Alabama as well. But besides those two games against power opponents, they've performed just fine against teams that are like-minded or like-funded type of programs. Coastal Carolina, on the other hand, not so much. They did have that early season victory against South Alabama that was looking good until South Alabama kind of continues to lose. So not probably, I mean, it kind of fitting that it goes to the bottom of this graphic here, but ULM versus Coastal. Does Coastal show some life here, TJ, or does ULM come down here, control that clock, run that ball, and just win with a kind of that lull you to sleep style football?
Man, I struggled. I struggled with this because it's honestly a toss-up for me. It could go either way. You wanna take Coastal in this game for a couple of reasons. Number one, you've seen Coastal be better, right? And you look at the football team and the talent that they have around them, and you think to yourself, man, if they could just one play here and they could just put this together there. They've got the pieces, right? And so they're just not, it's just, for whatever reason, it's not coming together. And I can't put my finger on it as to why it isn't. On the other hand, you've got ULM who will just, quite honestly, lull you to sleep. I mean, they'll run the ball and run the ball and run the ball. And just when you think they're going to run the ball again, they go right over top of your head. So it's one of those things that it can go either way. I'm not confident picking either team. I want to lean towards Coastal, but I can't confidently do it.
Gotcha. I mean, you kind of want to say like the home team should be favored in this one, but we're about to see that that's not the case when we get to the betting options. The all-time seasons or the all-time series between these two teams actually favors ULM 3-2, but Coastal has 2 games in a row. The last game, though, in this, to just throw all of that out the window immediately, was played 3 years ago. So, It's not like they're coming in here having played the last year and the year before. So,
2 completely different teams with completely different players.
Yep. Transfer portal, NIL changes all of that so much that season or the series history is only just to kind of have a note of how things are interesting because they're either lopsided or pretty close. This one's close, but not a whole lot of real recent history to lean on as far as what you're going to see in this one specifically. All right, so jumping over to our best bets, the things that we can lean on for this weekend. We won't focus on every game since we're going to try and save a little time here, but we'll focus on the ones that we went with. I'll start off taking that first one. I'm thinking Southern Miss continues to look pretty good. Georgia Southern doesn't really get it going. Their defense hasn't stood up enough. I feel pretty confident and comfortable saying Southern Miss can cover that 2.5-point spread against Georgia Southern there. TJ, do you want to explain why we're both high on the Cajuns against JMU in this next game?
Yeah, I'm 17.5 points. First of all, for me, it's just entirely too many points. I mean, listen, I'm not saying JMU's not going to win, but 17.5 points, no way, absolutely not. The Cajuns and last week, Cajuns played a really good football game, and they're going to continue to get better, I think. And it's one of those things where they kind of had to find their bearings, and now that they found them, I think that train is going to continue to roll. I take JMU to win. If you tell me by 7 or by 10, I'm okay with that. But 17, absolutely not.
Yeah, that does seem like a lot, especially after last week's performance. I don't know what they're sold on that.
Right.
Besides being back at home, maybe. I don't know. You got that next one, too. ODU versus Marshall. You're comfortable taking ODU at the 14.5, though, in that one.
Yeah, I think unlike what occasions have shown me, Marshall has shown me the exact opposite. I can't trust them. And what I do know about ODU is they are going to consistently be them. They're well coached. They've got players that are going to make plays. Again, we keep bringing up Colton Joseph. He is a man amongst boys. He's going to make a play when the play is necessary. He can run the ball with his legs. He obviously can throw the ball for 4 touchdowns, 350 or whatever it was yards, or 15. I think it was 315 yards. And he's electric. He can play football, and they're going to play tough on offense, on defense, and they're going to make you make a mistake. And quite honestly, Marshall hasn't proven to me that they're incapable of avoiding mistakes. So with that being said, I think 14.5 is kind of generous. I think this gets out of hand pretty quickly, to be honest.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Yeah, I wasn't confident on that one, but you're starting to sell me a little bit there on that one. So the one that you'll probably agree on, but you just maybe didn't take it, is App State covering the 2.5-point spread down there in Atlanta. Although maybe Vegas is leaning on this performance that Georgia State just had against James Madison, and they only went down by 7 points in their home stadium. So maybe they think, JMU's tougher than App, and App's coming in, but I just think the history there, the way App performed against Oregon State, again, Oregon State, a winless team, but their offense was not terrible. It wasn't great, but they were pretty formidable. I don't think Georgia State has that type of offense, and I don't know if their defense is amazing. I mean, I think it's pretty good. Obviously, you don't just let JMU stay at 14 points just getting lucky, but I just don't know. App's been moving the ball. It's just the ball security that had to keep getting better. It got a little bit better this past weekend, but I feel confident that they'll go down there and play kind of their usual game there in Atlanta, and maybe cover that one. Are you kind of agreeing with that one, or you think that one actually could be really cool?
I agree. I think App State goes down there and handles business. Again, I'm not predicting them to win by 2 scores. But I do think they go down and they handle business. If they win by 3, win by 7, even if they won by 10, I say 2 scores. But even if they won by 10, I'm not. It wouldn't surprise me. We're not by a juggernaut by any stretch. So there is that possibility that they don't win or they don't cover the spread. That said, though, I think and I think most people would agree that App goes down and handles business and covers the spread.
Yeah. ULM versus Coastal. I'm not confident on who's going to win this game. But weirdly enough, even at the low over-under of 44.5 points, I'm not sure these two teams could combine for that many. I don't trust Coastal's offense to get much. I just don't. I don't see them scoring a bunch of points. ULM, I think, will win this game if I had to choose. But I feel very confident that neither team is going to, suddenly light up the scoreboard. ULM has struggled to score points against the bigger, stronger teams. They've put up decent points against, UTEP and St. Francis. But I think both of those were, the 3-4 touchdown varieties. They didn't blow anybody out of the water. So I just feel like this is going to be a low-scoring affair that's going to surprise people and go under the 44.5 total, which – it's probably rare, but I feel like this is a game that could meet that.
You know what? I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. After thinking about it, I saw it earlier when you sent it over to me via text, and I was like, 44.5 seems low. I mean, that's 22 points apiece. That seems like a low, especially for a college football game of any kind, to be quite honest.
Right.
But when you break it down the way that you break it down, and again, we saw ULM play last week. We saw them, they're not lighting the scoreboard up, and neither are the Chanticleer. So I don't disagree with you. That's an interesting take, though. I didn't look at it the way you laid it out for me. Now I'm kind of leaning towards your side.
Yeah, and Coastal's defense does have a shutout on the season. So I mean, their offense is where they're struggling on both sides of the ball. Both sides of the equation. ULM's offense, they can run the ball. They don't really have that quick strike offensive ability. Coastal doesn't have much of an offense of any kind for whatever reason right now. So it just seems like that. It's just, yeah, I could see it going under. All right, TJ, you've got the last one. Troy and Texas State. You're taking Troy to cover the spread.
Yeah, I think Troy covers the spread. I think again, it is a pretty big gap. Wait, did I take Troy to cover the spread, or did I take? Let me see. What did I say to you? I want to make sure
I'll bring it up to fact check myself here. I'll make sure I'm not screwing you up. I said I'm taking Texas State to cover.
Yeah, to Texas State. Yeah, I was going to say Texas State against the spread is what I meant to say. But yeah, because 9.5 seemed like a lot of points. I do think Troy will win the game, and I think Troy's a good football team. But I think 9.5. That's 2 scores. I don't think they beat Texas State by 2 scores.
I'll fix that. I'll re-release this graphic on its own for our first. I haven't done that yet, but we'll do that and see if people take a bite and see if they win some money from us. But I'll fix that going forward because it clearly says Texas State to cover, and I put it on Troy instead. I don't know if I'm seeing the T and moving it.
No, you're good.
Anyway, you took Texas State to cover instead of Troy, cover the spread. That's what it is. That's going to do it, man. I'm glad you got to jump on. I'm glad the Tylers got to come on, man. I talked to them about coming on for a while, and I'm glad it finally worked out, and it kind of covered while you were getting Brody's big game in there.
Yeah, man. Well, the good news is it's the last Wednesday baseball game of the season, which is great, and we only have 2 more left. We got one on Monday and then one on Friday next week, and then Friday is a big game for us because we are sitting in 3rd place, but first and second place teams play each other on Monday. We got, I don't want to say a cupcake, but we got a team that we've already beat that we play against on Monday. So that'll give us a win. That'll give one of them a loss. That'll move us to 2nd place. And then if it's the team that I think is going to be in 1st place, we play them on Friday. So that would be for the outright overall league 1st place. So a lot going on, man. A lot happening.
Yeah, there is. And I'm glad to hear that it's mostly successful stuff. That's always fun to hear and follow along with. I know TJ's always posting pictures of his son's athletic accolades, living vicariously through him since we can't do it anymore, right, TJ?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely can't do it anymore.
I think that's so much fun to do. And obviously TJ can do a lot of stuff still. But, we aren't what we once were. How about that? So
that is 100% a fact. My back right now is hurting. I don't even know what I did. I think I slept wrong. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I gotta love those days when you don't know why something's hurting. Those are the days we're at now.
Exactly.
But like you said, man, it's fun to kind of watch your kids do the stuff now. It's a different feeling, but it's still fun. Artie Cat saying great show. Warren saying the same thing, man. You guys help make it. The comments coming in, we really appreciate it. It helps us keep going. Literally, as we try and go through the show, and also just in the back of our minds, we know what we're doing is working and people are liking it and tuning in. So we really appreciate it. TJ, any last words for the people before we get out of here?
No, man, as always, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. And we hope to see more of you. So really keep on hanging in there with us, and we'll keep coming at you every week.
Yep. And don't forget, we've got live Sunbelt action on ESPN2 Thursday night. So check it out. And we'll see you guys for the wrap show on Sunday evening. See ya.